Welcome to Let the Quran Speak, and welcome to our series, Misunderstood Verses of the Quran. Dr. Shabir, welcome to Let the Quran Speak.
Pleasure to be on.
Let's look at chapter 3, Dr. Shabir, verse 19, which says, the religion of Allah is the surrender. I'm using the Pickthall translation. Maybe there are other translations as well.
So there are two words there which are important to comment upon. One is the word deen, which has been translated as religion. So it says the deen with Allah is the Islam. Mm-hmm. And then the other term is Islam, which has been rendered by some as surrender, but some have taken it literally as the name of the religion of Islam. So I'm going to leave the word deen aside for the moment, because one might translate it as religion, one might translate it as way of life, one might translate it as the system of law, mm-hmm. and regulation of social justice and all of that. So let's take it in a general way. Let's take it as religion, which is a common translation. In fact, the non-Muslim famous translators of the Quran, George Sale, Rodwell, Palmer, Arbery, and J. Dawood, they all give it as religion. Okay, so we leave that alone for the time being. Now, the word Islam, this today is the name of the religion known by that name. But to read that into the verse is a mistake, and it leads to a misunderstanding. On the one hand, a critic might say, well, wait a minute, Christianity and Judaism and other religions existed before Islam, what you're calling Islam today, and they were never called Islam. They're called by other names. So that stems from using the word Islam to refer to that particular religion. What we should say in answer to that criticism is that the word Islam here means what it means in the Arabic language, the act of submission. Literally, it means submission. So the verse, Surah 3, verse number 19, is simply saying that religion with God, if we use the term religion, is characterized by submission to God. So what do all of the religions seem to have in common? They have in common that we are submitting to a higher order, who is called Allah in the Arabic language. And that one true God, He is the source of all of our legislation and so on. He's going to be the guide and the one to whom we're accountable for our actions. So that is characteristic of also Judaism and Christianity. When in the Gospel according to Matthew, we read that Jesus fell on his face and prayed to God. He was submitting to God in a similar way to which Muslims pray to God today. So that is characterized as submission as well. So the Quran then is correct in saying that this is how religions are characterized. Now, this also helps us to answer the salvation question, because, Sophia, when we say that the religion of Islam exclusively, this is the only thing that leads to paradise, that's the only thing that God is going to accept, as opposed to the act of submission to God in general, then we leave ourselves open to the criticism that means that your God is only going to admit a limited number of people into paradise. And that would make God look a little bit uncaring for the rest of humankind. And you might say, okay, well, wait a minute, but God has sent revelations and messages to guide people. He's given people the intellect to guide them to what is true and right. But we see the results of all of that. Despite the guidance that has been sent, despite the intellect which God has equipped people, God would know in advance that the vast majority of people are going to go the wrong way and obviously end up in hell. And we know there is a sort of responsibility in devolving on anyone who creates a system that if there's going to be a lot of waste in that system, then the creator is somehow accountable. I don't want to speak, disrespectful of God, because God, the Quran says, La yusalu amma yafal. He's not to be asked about what he does. Wahum yusalun. Other people, like people, creatures, are going to be asked about what they do. And this verse has been interpreted to mean that God is not to be questioned, right? But I understand it to mean that God does everything in such a right and fair manner that there's no question arising from what he does. But if somebody says that no, this means the religion of Islam and everybody else is going to hell, then it would make it look like God is doing something questionable here. Like, how does he create this system of all this waste? In this verse, Surah 3, verse number 19, the word Islam should not be taken as the name of the religion called Islam today, but it should be taken in its original Arabic meaning of the word, that this is submission, and that is what is characteristic of religion in general.
But Dr. Shabir, why do you think God would have introduced this ambiguity in this verse, right? Knowing that, okay, people understand the word Islam, but then this verse means something, the small I of Islam, something different than they might have understood.
At the time when the word was used, perhaps the religion was not called Islam as the name of a religion. I mean, people would have understood that this is how we surrender, we submit to God, but it would not have been the name of the religion. And that name came later as, the name of the religion itself. Muslims are called Muslims in the Quran, but so too people before us who were followers of previous prophets, like the Christians, for example, the disciples of Jesus, they are called Muslims in the Quran as well.
All right, we'll leave it at that. Thank you, Dr.
You're
Shabir.
welcome.
Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to Muslim Media Hub, the new home of Let the Quran Speak.
Here we spread positivity and good. We help people experience the beauty of Islam and help them appreciate and understand Muslims.
This beautiful building we purchased at cost $2.3 million.
Yeah, we've already raised a third of that money, and with your help, inshallah, we can pay off the rest.
So we're looking for people who can give $1,000 each. If you can be part of the select group, that's amazing.
Otherwise, just please give whatever you can. Every dollar counts.
It's our collective responsibility to share the message of Islam with our fellow human beings. Please help us continue this good work.
It's a sadaqah jariyah, something that will continue to be a benefit to the Muslim community long after Safiya and I are gone.
Please support our work at muslimmediahub.com.
Your support is zakat eligible and tax deductible.
May Allah bless you and your loved ones today and always. Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum.